Shellyfonner, Terre Haute, Indiana. The very first transaction that we had done actually was prior to the mentor group, prior to becoming a part of it. We had gotten something in the mail from him, ordered maybe a $39 book. I'm not sure what it was. It was about 2.5 years ago, and we had actually done a deal just by reading that book. So that was extremely exciting. We felt like if we could get that much information from a book, we better join the class, because I can't imagine what we could get from the group. So that was our very first one that we had done. Within 30 days of getting the book, I mean, we've gotten the book, we dissected the book, I should say I did, shared with my husband what we were going to be doing, and it literally just kind of happened very quickly. We had gotten the property, and it was an assignment deal. We had secured the property with a purchase agreement, began marketing it, the phone began to ring. We started kind of learning as we were going, and we had it under contract within literally 2 weeks of putting a sign in the yard. So maybe 30 days, a couple of weeks to analyze, and then a couple of weeks to close. And on that first deal, we made $3,000, and that was fabulous. Physical work, no. I think becoming successful can be a challenge depending on where you're coming from and what you're doing. Was it hard? No. But not necessarily extraordinarily easy either. I think it was just a point of, it was all outlined in the book, but if you don't do what you're reading, it isn't going to happen. So it was one of those things that do A, B, and C. We did A, B, and C, and it absolutely happened. Had we not done one of those things, it wouldn't have happened. So maybe the hard part about it would be deciding you want to change your life. That might be the hardest thing you have to figure out. Once you've made that decision, the rest of it fell into place very quickly. The first deal, we probably had maybe 10 hours, not including reading the book. You know, I dissected the book front to back, and we probably 10 hours or so. I mean, we put a sign out, we fielded some calls, shown it 3 or 4 times, someone took it. It literally was like that. So it wasn't as if we had, you know, day in and day out, 12-hour days or anything. We would put the sign out, the phone would ring, we'd work on it 2 or 3 hours, then we would show it. That'd take 30, 40 minutes, and then before you know it, we had it under contract, and we were like, oh my goodness, $3,000. You do the math, and that was much more than what we were currently doing. Oh gosh, the best deal that we have done, it's really hard when you begin to help people to put it in perspective. We love what we're doing now, and it's phenomenal, and it has snowballed into something we really didn't think would happen. We had no idea where it could go. So to talk about our best deal, I'm not sure that there's a best or a favorite. When you're helping buyers and sellers and you're putting them together and you're solving a problem, they all have their own sentiments. So you're helping a seller who didn't think there was a solution. So that's very rewarding. And then you're putting a family into a property that they would not normally qualify for, also very rewarding. So we've helped the people start out, we've helped the people start over, and we've helped the people that just want to get out. You know, maybe they've lost their spouse, or they're aging and they just don't want that house anymore. But when they've tried everything and you're their solution for them, it's very rewarding. You sleep well at night knowing that you're helping people. And I think that's really the most important thing. We started with Joe, it'll be 3 years in May, so we're just upon 2.5 years, and it has been a fabulous ride. We have automated our business. We didn't automate probably the first 6 months. And then when we began to come back and realize that was time for us to do that, we certainly did automate the business. And that has really brought in some other avenues that we didn't have prior to automating. So we are fully automated now, and each time we get together and we network with our friends, we realize, well, that's a great idea. We'll go ahead and implement that now. And that has also been great. But we are fully automated, and I think that that's extremely important to piggyback on everything else that you're doing. The techniques that we're using is we have the clone sites, the push button method, and we have those. We do a lot of online advertising, such as Craigslist and classified ads in our area. We do a lot of autoresponders, meaning people are going to get emails from us automatically. And we do that for both buyers and sellers. We want to build our list from anything that we can do. Someone who is not ready yet today, we want to make sure that they hear from us for when they are ready. And that's where the automation comes into play. And so any of our buyers and sellers are able to automate, or I should say sign in. And then what that does is that they get an automatic email from us. And so we're always there when they're ready. So if they're not ready today, that's okay. We'll be there when they are ready. And that's what the automation has done. It's almost one of those things that we don't have to worry about it, because once they're in the system, then they're just there. And then they get an email from us, and all of a sudden, 2, 3 months, 6 months, a year later, they pop up and say, hey, remember me, I'm ready now. And that's fabulous. We don't lose them that way. Our ultimate goals have varied, actually, and I think that happens oftentimes. When you get to a certain level, you begin to realize there's other things you can do in other avenues, and when you learn one technique, you kind of add another, you piggyback on another idea. At this point, we have started more of the property management. Our business is we have an office, and so people are able to bring us their rents. We're able to be right there, and then with that being said, we do a lot of our own property management. We're able to offer that. And where it's going to go, who knows? At one point or another, maybe we'll do our own brokerage. But the beauty of it is that whatever we want to do, we now know it's possible. We didn't really know that in the beginning, when you start something brand new. So it's like every 6 months, it almost changes. But it changes for the better because you're ready for that next level. This impact that it's had has been huge, I feel like. Joe is a phenomenal teacher and a phenomenal investor, and when you can mix the two of those together, it has been, needless to say, fabulous. And so the impact has been more time that you're not able to get back. So even though we work every day and we're very happy to go to work, it's way different when you're going to work at your own office or your own company than it is for somebody else. But we don't miss ball games, and when the kids need to be picked up, we're right there. And it gives them a sense of pride. Oh, there's our office, and they come in and they see mom and dad working for themselves, and that's something that they then want to do. But it has been a phenomenal ride, and I certainly would never want to change any of it. And Joe has, what I think is a blessing that is out there, because you have a lot of people that are teaching a lot of things. However, they're not teaching everything. And so oftentimes you get a course and you get it home, and before you know it, you don't have all the answers and you don't know what to do. Joe does his own emails and he does his own conference calls, and so you actually get to speak to him. And that is a service that is not offered when you go elsewhere most of the time. We came from always having that dream, and so we spent thousands in other types of programs that we were hoping would get us where we wanted to go. But the vehicle just wasn't there. I mean, we'd have the car and no gas pedal. We would have the car and no steering wheel. I mean, we just had issues that we couldn't get to the next level. Joe has actually provided the full vehicle with a full tank of gas, and you can go wherever you want to go. Yes. We quit our job, and I was working full-time when we started, and my husband had just retired from the government at that time. And so he was almost on the front line the first couple of months, and it began to snowball so much that within 4 months, we were both full-time at this. Well, I wanted to grow big. I mean, and how big? I don't know. I don't know, because at this point, we've just grown so much, and it's been so exciting that once again, it kind of changes. And so I think that whatever service we can provide and continue to do so, and as long as we're helping people, I want to continue to grow. So if we can bring people on board and help other people do what we're doing and branch out as big as we can, then who knows, the sky's the limit. It can be as small or out of your home as you want it to be, or it can be big and on the corner and in everyone's face as you want it to be. And the beauty of it is it can just fit your personality however you want it to do. And so today we want it to be big, and if we want to change that ever, then we'll change it. That's kind of the beauty of being able to do this. The amount of money that we make, is it sad to say we don't necessarily sit down and figure it all up? It's been a phenomenal ride. $30,000 a month is what we bring in, and then what we do with it from there, we reinvest a lot of it, and we go from there. So we don't have to punch a time clock. It pays all our bills. We're able to do what we want to do, and that's where we're at right now. And so the income, I couldn't tell you what our bottom line is, other than it all works, and that's the fabulous part. My advice would be, if you want to be a real estate investor, then you need to go for it. I mean, if that's what you want to do, and it's all about finding what you want to do. Some people want to do other things, and then that's great. I think that the beauty of being self-employed or an entrepreneur is being able to do what you want to do. And if real estate investing is what you want to do, then you absolutely have to have Joe Crump as your mentor. I mean, that you have to. I think that you're doing yourself a huge disservice not to. And take it from someone who has spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars hoping that I could find it. I knew I wanted to be a real estate investor. I knew I had a passion for real estate, but I just couldn't seem to get off the ground. And what I was doing seemed to be the wrong things, and it just didn't happen. Having been able to join Joe and be able to experience from this point has just been great. I can't imagine doing it or getting where I'm at without him. And the beauty of it is if you want to be a real estate investor, that's fabulous. If you want to do something else, maybe you should invest in real estate a little bit so that can be your vehicle to do what you really want. I think it's a no-brainer to do real estate. But if that's not your personality and you have other dreams you want to do, this can be the vehicle to get you where you ultimately want to go.